Good afternoon, potato chips. Wee Paddy back at you with a different sort of video again. What I'm doing today is I'm going to promote a company that sells French knives, authentic French knives in America. They're based in Texas. They are just setting up, and they've been there for a little while, but they're just trying to make their way over in America selling French knives. Now, I'm a knife collector. So I collect knives from anywhere and everywhere, and I'll show a few of them just as examples later on in the video. But I do like collecting working knives as well. That's one of my other little pet things. So I contacted him and said, look, I'm over in the UK, my subs are split halfway between that side of the world and the UK and Europe. And that is true, which is fantastic because I get so many different viewpoints, and that's whether they're criticism or helpful. It's brilliant. That's what keeps channels going. That's what's keeping my interest going. But I said to him, look, why don't you send me one of your budget knives that you've got and let me give you a little promote over here in the UK, but also around the world because my subs are got a subs in India, in China, everywhere. So here's what this fella kindly sent me over a knife from the States. That's the company, and this is the knife. I'll move that up there now, just not out of the way, but it's on the front of the video. So he sent me over, this is a bone handle. I don't know whether the corn is the knife or not, but it's a knife. It's U.S.A. I don't speak any French whatsoever. Monterrier, La Montel, France. Proper French knives that he gets imported to America. And what I'm suggesting is now we can even buy French knives from America at maybe even less the cost bringing it into the country. So the nice thing about this company is they also said they sent me a knife, which I'll show you now. It's just a basic working knife. They have a wide price range from the basic this is right up to Luther and all the top French brands that if you don't know, you're going to find out about because you can go on their Instagram and their Facebook and see the knives that they have. So that's the box, goes up there. The knife he sent me is this knife. And this is a typical French. Now, I'm going to use the word peasant knife. And I loathe using that word, but it's just a work knife. We tend to think of French we think of Opinel all the time. It's the one that we see all the time. But if you do look into French, they have a lot of different brands. This is La Sabot, which who make beautiful knives, both work knives and higher end knives. This comes in bone, although it is only a work knife. Look at that beautiful bone. I think it's just ox bone or something like that. But the configuration on this side is lovely. It's a bit jet black on this side, but I think this knife comes in at about $50. Don't quote me on it. It's somewhere about that. But there's going to be a bonus at the end if you stick with me. This is a smashing, although this is not a high-class knife. This is a knife to have that you can use, and it's got a story to tell because it's from France. It's a peasant work knife. It's been about for years upon years, and I'm talking well over 100 years of history behind something like this. So here it is. It's a slip joint. This one locks open beautifully. There's no half stop, and there's blade wrap if you let it snap. Now, if you get the high-end L'Aiguilles and other knives of the French, they tend to do that with their knives. It's so as they can give. Now, this is the explanation I've been given. It's so as they can give a bigger amount of blade surface so that it can be sharpened and used longer. Again, going back to that peasant days when they wanted as much as they could for the money. So you have to close the knife softly. You don't have to, but you'll just get blade wrap up at the tip. And that's the only place you'll get it. But it gives you an extra length of time for a work knife. I think that is a super idea. There's another couple of knives that give you this big sort of, this is what I call the ram's foot. It's got the smaller blade here, going up to the thicker blade. Now, and on there you've got La Sabot French and this little symbol here. This is a really well-known company, genuinely, and if you look it up yourself. Now, look at the fit and finish on this. I think the fit and finish is really good for a work knife. It's really good for a knife, full stop. But this is a work knife, and it makes no bones about it. It is a work knife. Now, what did I do to test it? I cut a bit of wood, I cut some cardboard, but what's more importantly for me is I resharpened it. I reprofiled it to about 18 degrees because I wanted to see how it sharpened. Because a lot of cheaper work knives, the steel they used was inferior, but this is a modern day interpretation. So this is a carbon steel. This came back absolutely stunning. It took an incredible edge. And by that, I mean flipping incredible. It shocked me. I didn't expect a knife of that quality to have, and it was a crisp burr. When I was sharpening it, I had a lovely crisp. There was no gumminess in it. I think it's actually something like C75. So, you get 1095 and it's 1075, but it seems to have been heat treated really well because the crisper I got and that beautiful edge, and this is just a 3-stage sharpening on the work sharp, the precision adjust. 3-stage sharpening, that edge is amazing. It's 18 degrees, it seems really stable, so it will do a really good day's work. And I love the shape of it. It's basic. It's done to make it easy to make. It has got, if you look on the bolster here, it's got lined. There is a bit of a flaw there, and there's a bit of a, no, on the other side. No, not there. Just the top one there seems to have a little bit of a flaw where the metal has turned over a little bit. But I wanted him to send me his budget knives. So he sent me his budget knives. And I am so appreciative. I wouldn't want an upgrade in this because this is a peasant knife. The bone handle is nice and thick. The fit and finish on is good. It sits in the hand lovely. You have a high ricasso there. So if it does tend to go, which, look, it's a really strong back spring on it. It it takes a lot to break that back spring. But when you're holding it there, it's the perfect position. It'll not close on you. That's me pushing hard. Look at that. It didn't touch me at all blade-wise. Not whatsoever. So, safety in how you hold it. To me, this is just... And look, we can all pull out, we can all pull out our Buck 110 and go to work, and everybody knows what the Buck 110 is. And it's not a shock to anybody because everybody has seen one. But what this does is gives you a talking point that you've got a knife made in France. And yes, we're going to be able to buy it in America from a Texas-based company who are importing them. And to be honest with you, their prices are absolutely brilliant for an imported knife. They really are good. Because, look, the way things are at the minute with the post, with Brexit, with COVID, with everything, it's getting blooming expensive to post. So, the nice thing about this company, and I just think it's absolutely fantastic. A few American companies have done this with me before, and I really do appreciate it. They're going to give us a 10% discount, and all you have to do is put Paddy in the code. When you put Paddy in the code, you'll get a 10% discount on this knife. That's fantastic, but it's also fantastic for us over here in Europe. That 10% of the knife that you buy, it has to be over £50. Once it's over £50, the discount code is inactive, or is active, I should say, of 10%. So to get that shipped back over here, that takes a whack off your shipping, and it probably brings it down to less than what we're having to pay to ship from Europe to the UK at the minute. So it's a win-win. In the States, you're just definitely winning. Although, again, the price is maybe a little bit dearer than buying in France, but you don't have the shipping costs, and you're going to have 10% off. Fantastic. Is this a knife I would use? This is a knife I will use without doubt. It's just a smashing work knife. And the fact that, okay, I have to do this, I don't have to, but all it is just a tip hitting on the end. It's not the whole knife, just that tip. And it's still workable because it's such a thin behind the edge. Let me just show you. It is, look how thin that is behind the edge and how far it comes up. That is a super, super knife that you can hard use, abuse, and you're not going to care because it is a work knife. That's what it's for. But it's also a collector's knife. I've got a different knife. Rather than just bringing out open L all the time, I can bring out my lacer bat, my bone handle peasant knife. I just love it. I take it the name Corn is the name of the knife, the Corn knife. I should have done a bit more research. I probably will do, because I'll probably do a long-term review on this of how it works. But already I've used it on wood, cardboard, paper. I have cut with it, and then I have resharpened it, and it takes a wicked edge. And if steel's crap, it just doesn't do that. It doesn't take a wicked edge. And this was lovely it was just, every burr was like a little crisp burr. I didn't have to go for a long time because the burr was crisp. A lot of bad steels, it's gummy. This is crisp, and this is, well, I just genuinely love it. And the fact that we're getting 10% off is a bonus. So what I would suggest you do, go over there to Knives of France. They have a blog. It's knivesofrance.blog.com. There's Knives of France on Instagram and Knives of France on Facebook. Go over, find the store, find some knives that you like, and let me know if you buy one. Use the code Paddy and you're going to get 10% off. Anything over 50 quid, 10% off. I love that. I think it's great. So you can get something like this. If it's $50, again, I'm not sure of the price. If it's $50, you're going to get it for 45. So that is pretty good. And to have this in your collection rather than just the same knife that everybody else has. Get a wee bit different, get a wee bit creative. But see what his high-end are like. I am going to check out his higher-end ones. I would love another Laguil. I let mine go, and I'm really sorry I did. I have a cheap Chinese one there, no good. I want the proper job. So that's what I'm going to be looking for next to complete my, I've got a peasant knife, and then I'm going to have a high-end knife. So there you go. I think, look, I'm going to show you now just some knives that I collect. This is just a beauty. I genuinely love it. Great work knife. And just a great all-round talking piece rather than an open L. There's nothing wrong with open L, but this is a sturdy work knife, where open L is for slicing a wee bit of meat. Look, I collect them from all around the world. The Big Buck 110, probably the most famous. I got the 55 as well. Here's another work knife from Germany, probably around the same sort of price. This is the Ottermesser, the rope knife. This is a beautiful work knife. Again, you can see them blade shapes. They give you plenty of sharpening edge because they're work knives. Here's another one from Canada, the Groman belt knife. I think this is just a reproduction, but it lets me see Canada. There's a Spanish knife. This is a Netto, a Spanish maker, Netto. A beautiful knife. This is a lockback in stainless steel, but nonetheless a beautiful knife. The Swiss Army knife. We all have Swiss Army knives. Again, just knives from around the world. Here you are. There's the Chinese. It doesn't get much more Chinese than Civivi, but a beautiful lockback with a blade to die for. So I'm absolutely collecting knives from anywhere and everywhere. Here's the Italian flare. It's a Gitano. It's a copy of a Spanish knife, but it's made in Italy with that Italian flair. I have a Mazarin, which is an Italian man. So I do collect different sorts of knives from all around the world. And to me, it's what makes this hobby special, that I don't have to just have titanium, M390, I have lots of different steels to sharpen. I get to know lots about different steels. I get to know how different work knives work and why they chose them. And that's the joy for me. So, Knives of France, they're based in Texas, but anything over £50, you get a 10% discount. Just put Paddy in the discount code. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to Knives of France. I will be placing an order for a more high-end knife in the near future. Take care, folks. Paddy's away.